That's a great question. The tendency to believe what others say about a person without seeking the facts directly from that person is rooted in a mix of psychological, social, and cultural factors. Here are some reasons why this happens. 1. Cognitive biases. Humans are wired to take shortcuts in thinking, which is where cognitive biases come in. One common bias is the bandwagon effect, where people are more likely to believe something because it's popular or others believe it. We also have confirmation bias, where we're more likely to accept information that aligns with our pre-existing beliefs or opinions about someone, rather than seeking a more objective truth. 2. Social proof and trust. People tend to trust others in their social circle, especially if those people are seen as more credible or have higher status. If someone in a group, whether a friend, family member, or coworker, says something negative about another person, it can be easier to believe them than to go through the effort of questioning it. Social proof makes us feel like the consensus view is probably correct. 3. Lack of personal experience. If someone hasn't had direct, meaningful interaction with a person, they may not have enough information to form their own opinion. It's much easier for people to rely on others' judgments because it requires less effort than forming a completely independent viewpoint. Essentially, it's simpler to rely on the crowd than to go out and gather facts yourself. 4. Perceived authority. Some people trust authority figures or individuals who present themselves confidently. If a person with authority, whether in a workplace, social group, or family, speaks negatively about someone, others might believe it without question, simply because of the speaker's position or reputation. 5. Group dynamics and peer pressure. In tight-knit social groups or communities, there can be a subtle or not so subtle pressure to conform to the group's views. If one person starts spreading negative opinions about someone, others might go along with it to fit in or avoid conflict. Conformity bias kicks in, where people prefer to align with the group, even if it means not questioning the narrative. 6. Emotional reactions. Sometimes people don't believe the facts, but rather the emotions behind the story. If someone is telling a dramatic or emotionally charged tale about someone else, it can evoke strong reactions that cloud judgment. Emotional appeal is incredibly powerful and can make people feel like the narrative is true, even if it's based on hearsay. 7. Fear of being wrong or contrarian. People often fear being seen as naive or sticking up for someone who might be a troublemaker. If they side with the minority or defend someone who's been criticized, they might worry that they'll be judged as wrong or gullible. So it's safer, in some contexts, to just accept the dominant narrative, especially when challenging it might cause social discomfort. 8. Stereotyping. People might believe negative things about someone because they fit a stereotype or preconceived notion about them. For instance, if someone belongs to a group that is frequently maligned, people might take negative statements at face value because they assume the stereotype must be true. This is often tied to implicit bias, where certain groups or types of people are unfairly judged based on broad generalizations. 9. Insecurity or gossip culture. Gossip can also play a role. Some people enjoy spreading stories or opinions about others because it makes them feel powerful or important. If a group of people is gossiping about someone, others might join in because they want to be included or don't want to appear as outsiders. Gossip creates a cycle of confirmation and reinforcement where the narrative keeps getting amplified even without verification. 10. Lack of critical thinking. Unfortunately, many people just don't question information. It's easier to believe what others say, especially if it's not challenged. Critical thinking requires effort and time, and many people simply don't take the time to evaluate information properly before accepting it as true. In essence, believing others without checking facts is often easier and more socially acceptable than doing the hard work of investigating and questioning. However, this mindset can lead to misunderstandings, perpetuate false narratives, and create unnecessary conflict.